Welcome! This is part 2 of drawing with Autodesk SketchBook and creating a butterfly digital illustration project. At the end of our part 1 video, we were using the paintbrush tool in size 2.0 and black color to trace the lines of this butterfly and create closed shapes. That means that wherever you start is connected to a line, and where you end up is also connected to a line. It doesn't have to be exactly where you started, but they do have to create a shape where there's no openings, okay? Because later you're going to use to fill the shape in with color. If there's even a little teeny bit of opening, the color is going to spill out into places that you don't want it. So that's why it's so important to make sure your shapes are closed. Okay, so I'm going to resume drawing. Again, I'm using the symmetry tool, okay, indicated by this dotted line. I'm on the drawing in color layer that is above the butterfly reference photo layer. I'm going to click, and even if I have to, go over that line just a little bit just to make sure it's closed. Right now I'm using a mouse. You don't have to. A lot of times digital illustrators use a pad with a stylus. You can use your trackpad or you can use a mouse. So notice I switched to the other side. I'm drawing on the left side now, and what I'm drawing is showing up on the right side as well. So it doesn't matter what side you actually draw on as long as you're using the symmetry tool. Again, my tip is not to make any shape too small. It's very hard to get it colored in, if you create shapes that are too small. So my tip is to, even if the circle is small, make it a little bit bigger than it really is on the butterfly, just so when you go to color it in, it's a lot easier. Okay. Again, you don't have to follow the exact lines that are there, but it is kind of nice to use those as a guide. Let's see what else we could do. Maybe break this one up a bit more. It's kind of a big shape. So for the most part, I am. Let's draw his antennas. Trying to follow what's there. All right, I think that looks good. Oh, I think I'm going to add this line down here. It's kind of subtle, but I think that'll be nice to break up those shapes. So just by drawing this line, I am breaking that shape into two, and it's still a closed shape. Okay. So if I toggle the eye icon here, you can see, kind of check yourself that the shapes are closed. Looks like everything is. Okay, and again, if you toggled on this one, you would see just your photo. Okay. So for this project, I would like you to use this Copic color library. If it's not already on your interface, it's the icon up here in the toolbar. Okay, so if you click it, it goes away. You click it, it comes back on. This is another color option. It's almost like the color wheel with some pre-selected colors down here. Just for ease for this first time, I think I'd rather have you use the Copic color choices. These other icons are the other sort of panel options. Okay, this is our tool that we're going to use called the flood fill tool to color in our shapes that we've created. The T means text. If we need to move around or zoom in, we would use that tool. Okay, if you draw something like I did early on the first video and you don't like where you drew, you can use this red back arrow. You can't go back multiple steps, but you can go back a few steps if you made a mistake. All right, so right now I am on my drawing and color layer. Remember that we know that because of the light blue line around that layer. I'm in my paintbrush, although we're not going to be drawing now, so we're going to use the flood fill tool that looks like a little bucket. And I think for mine I'm going to use cool colors this time. So the cool colors would probably start with this yellow green, even though it's got some yellow. Green is a cool color, right? So we can use that one, this other shade of yellow green. All these shades, and this blue. I'm going to say you can use black as well. Okay. Probably these blue violets, and violet up here. So there are quite a few blue options, or cool color options, right? Now, we can't use the symmetry tool when we're coloring in. So if you color something in on one side, you would want to go over and color it in the same, mirror image shape on the other side. I think for this, we don't really need the butterfly photo, so I can hide that. I think I'm going to start with this color B24, and I'll start up here. Maybe I'll go every other one. So take your time. And do the same over on this side. All right. This is a nice light blue color. I'm going to go with that for that area and that area, and that and that. You can have sort of a pattern going on. Maybe I'll go back to so far so good. All right, let's pull in some green this time. Let's try this green. Go. Alrighty, shaping up. What else should we try? This blue violet's really pretty. Let's see how that looks in here. So I'd like you to have some sort of, now right there, this is a good example. That's sort of a little shape. What happened was the crosshair, okay, of my mouse hit on the black line instead of the open space, and it colored all my lines the purplish color. I don't want that because remember, we want to keep our lines black in this. So when you have a smaller shape like this, make sure that the small cross there is completely in the open area. That's why you don't want to make your shapes too small. I know this looks a little more pink, but it is actually a combination of red-violet. I don't know how dark blue yet. Let's see how that looks. You can always change by clicking. Just don't go too fast. And make sure those crosshairs I'm going to change and see what it would look like if I kind of like that. And maybe the darker green. Yeah, like that. Okay. So now what we have left, I'm going to go black with the, for the, oh. Make sure those crosshairs are right in there. Black antennas, and maybe a black body too. I like that. So there is our colored in butterfly. To do a file, save as. Now I'm going to call it, since I've already done a couple samples, that's why this popped up. But let's say you're going to name it butterfly hyphen your last name hyphen and 6 dash whatever period of art you're in. If you make more than one, you can say hyphen, I say V for version, and I think now I'm up to 4. I'm going to call this one cool, for the cool colors. Okay. Then you're going to go to your Google Drive, My Drive, and then to where that folder is that I shared with you. So here's my art folder. Here are my other butterflies. I'm going to save this version as a TIFF, okay, in that folder. So I'm going to hit save. Make sure that you name it butterfly, your last name, and your art grade and period, and save, and it's going to go into that folder. Okay. Now, to be able to print this one out, I'm going to do File, Save As, and change this to JPEG down here in this section that says File Format. You can name it the same name because it's going to be a different file format, so that's fine. You couldn't name the same, couldn't use the same name for 2 files of the same file format. Okay, and again, it knows that I want to save it in my folder. Okay, my art folder that I saved it in before. Okay, but if that doesn't pop up for you, again, you go to your Google Drive, My Drive, you find where you have your art folder. Mine's in 6th grade. And save it there. Okay, it's telling me because I'm saving it as a JPEG, all these layers are going to be merged, but that's fine because I've already saved it as a TIFF file. If I wanted to go back in and change colors, I would open up the TIFF file format and be able to work on it again. Okay, JPEG, no. Once I save it as a JPEG, these layers are merged and I can't go back in and change anything. Okay, so that's fine for this one because I already have it saved as a TIFF. All right. So that's the version that I will then be able to go in and look in your folder and print it on our color copier for you. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, learning how to draw and color in a beautiful, symmetrically bilateral butterfly. Bye-bye.